Hello and welcome to my kitchen and my teeny tiny whiteboard. So today we're going to dive into monogamy versus non-monogamy. So pretty much anyone who is involved in romantic relationships is either monogamous or non-monogamous. And it's important to realize that these two broad categories are somewhat all-encompassing when it comes to romantic relationships. Now within the non-monogamy category we have ethical and unethical. So unethical non-monogamy is cheating. That is cheating. Anyone who is in an unethically non-monogamous situation is cheating. This means that you're lying, you're betraying someone's trust. So you might be attracted to multiple people, you might have multiple partners, but you're not informing your partners of that behavior, of that attraction. So it's important to make that distinction because a lot of people who are unethically non-monogamous are quick to try to defend their behavior by saying that they're non-monogamous, and that's not a defense. That's not a defense for cheating. Okay, and you can be non-monogamous and you can be monogamous, and in either of these cases, you can be a cheater if you violate someone's trust, if you violate the expectations of the relationship. So that's important to understand, and that's why I have my little disclaimer down here that says whether or not a relationship is ethical or not depends on communication and trust. So the essential part here in the ethical aspect is communication and trust. So let's look at the ethical branch of non-monogamy. So within ethical non-monogamy, we have basically another breakdown here. We have intimate and casual. Now this is not a textbook standard dichotomy here, but I'm just simplifying it for y'all so that you can sort of see where I'm going with this. In a casual situation, you can be ethically non-monogamous, which means that you communicate with your partner, that you're attracted to multiple partners, you're willing to have multiple relationships. But in the casual situation, usually there's one kind of primary relationship, and then there are other peripheral relationships. So the branch down here is you might have swingers. So you have a couple that maybe is together and committed, maybe married, but they hang out with and have sex with other people. Or friends with benefits, which basically means that the primary couple, or however you want to describe it, the married couple, is openly non-monogamous, they're ethically non-monogamous, and they have friends, just like other couples have friends, but in those friendships, they are allowed to have sex or utilize other physical benefits within those friendship relationships. But neither of those situations is typically romantic or committed in any way. On the intimate side, we have polyamory and we have relationship anarchy. And really these two things overlap a little bit. There's a lot of other categories, a lot of other descriptors you can use, branching down from the intimate branch. But all I'm trying to convey here is that within the ethical branch of non-monogamy, you can have situations where people are open, communicative, there's no violation of trust, but there are, such as in polyamory, multiple romantic relationships. And within that, there's hierarchical and non-hierarchical. I'm not going to branch into that right now because that gets a lot more complicated. But in all of these situations, within ethically non-monogamous, polyamorous relationships, you have people who are communicating with each other to the extent that everyone is agreeing to the amount of communication, and that extent of agreement will vary based on relationship. Some polyamorous relationships, they do a whole lot of communication, like everything is always on the table. There's a branch called kitchen table poly, which basically means that everyone sort of treats each other like a big family. They can all get together and have dinner and lunch and breakfast together. Sometimes in these situations, multiple partners actually live together. That's something that I've delved into and experienced. But in other situations within polyamory, there are just multiple relationships, and all of the relationships are allowed, but there's not as much communication about each relationship between relationships. So that's kind of what polyamory looks like. And relationship anarchy really overlaps a lot with polyamory in that it just means that you don't have a whole lot of labeling. There are no hierarchies in any situation in relationship anarchy. There is just an express set of rules within the relationship that is basically designed to benefit everyone who's involved. It's designed to make sure that no one is left behind, and it is, of course, a construct in which, when you operate within relationship anarchy, there can be no violation of trust. So any violation of trust in any of these situations, of course, equates to cheating. That doesn't just mean a violation of trust with regards to sex. It means a violation of trust with regards to the expectations that were set forward for the relationship. So, for instance, in a swinging situation, if you're swingers and you have an agreement that you're not going to have romantic relationships with other people, but you're allowed to have sex, and you have sex, but then you have a romantic relationship, that's then cheating. So it's possible for swingers to be cheaters. And so there's always a way, and within monogamy, there can be trust violations. So you can behave monogamously, but you can be a cheater in terms of the fact that you can violate your partner's expectation of the relationship and violate their trust. So I think it's really important to break apart these labels, think about how they branch down from the broadest categories of monogamous and non-monogamous. Consider that people often define themselves with one of these terms. They also behave with regards to one of these terms. So in future videos, I'm going to sort of dive into how other relationship constructs work with regards to these categories of relationship descriptors. And so I hope that you'll follow for that video, and I look forward to seeing y'all's discussion with regards to these topics in the comment section and in future videos. Thanks for watching.